Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here at the Technical Forum at the group exhibit Hydrogen, Fuel Cells and Batteries. I welcome you here in the year of 2015 at the Hannover Fairground. Also at this time I would like to invite all our guests to have a drink on the house. There's the lovely lady that will be walking around and serving you drinks. Also, good afternoon, hello, good morning to our online guests. We are live streaming from the fair. Not only 25 countries exhibiting here, we have even more viewers all over the world. The next hour will be all connected and concerned with EU topics. We are getting a little bit political here. That will be very interesting because the importance of hydrogen and fuel cells has increased over the years, and the year of 2015 was a milestone. We have the first serial production of a car industry. Toyota has launched the first serial car. Daimler has announced to do that in 2017. And usually we have some barriers to overcome before the market introduction. And we will now discuss the FCH Joint Undertaking. That is a public-private partnership by the European Union. It is supporting the research, also the technological development and the demonstration activities and fuel cell and hydrogen energy technologies in Europe. The aim is to accelerate the market introduction, and this is something that many people here are waiting for, and they want the help. How can we get into the market? That is the most important question here. And also, in the long term, how can we achieve a lean carbon lean energy system? And for that, we'll have our first speaker, and he will talk about the program results of the FCH Undertaking, a joint undertaking. And for that, please welcome with me on stage the head of the program unit, Mr. Jean-Luc Delplancke. Big hands, please.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for this very kind introduction. So indeed, my name is Jean-Luc Delplancke. I'm the head of the program unit of the Fuel Cells and Hydrogen Joint Undertaking. And this Hydrogen Joint Undertaking has been set up by the European Commission in order to achieve different kinds of goals and targets for the future economy. You know probably the 2020 goals that were set up by the European Commission by 2020. So the reduction of the greenhouse gas emission by 20%, the increase in the energy efficiency by 20%, and 20% of renewable in the portfolio of energy by 2020. But these targets were even improved later on by 2030 during a recent European Council in October 2014, going to 27% of renewable energy, to 27% improvement of energy efficiency, and 40% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. So what we are a funding agency. We are launching call for proposal every year, and then we receive some research and demonstration proposals, and we try to fund them. So what you have here is a timeline with the different projects that were funded. We are belonging to two different research programs managed by the European Commission. Initially it was the 7 framework program, now it's the Horizon 2020. I will talk about all the results of the 155 projects that were funded under the FP7 program, because we just started the new approach under Horizon 2020. So I do not ask you to read everything on this slide. Of course, that's more or less impossible, but that's the only way to present the 155 projects. You can see that we have different call for proposal, one each year, and only the red ones that are on this map are already finished. All the others are still running, and they will be running until 2017, 2018. So we have 155 projects, and we were able to have about 1,300 participants in the projects, corresponding more or less to 545 different kinds of beneficiaries around Europe. We have a big portfolio of industries, 35%. In extra to that, we have 28% of SMEs participating in our projects, And we have also research organization, higher education, all distributed around Europe, as you can see on this map. We distribute, of course, some money. So you see here a map with the distribution of the funding to the different European countries. What is important is that on the 28 member states, we are funding at least 22 of them. What is missing is participants from Ireland, Latvia, Slovakia, Malta, Cyprus, and Luxembourg. So if you are coming from these countries, please feel free to come to me. We will welcome to introduce the FCH JU to you and to see how you can participate in our program. Besides European countries, we have also some participants coming from Canada, Russia, United States, and so on. I will discuss mainly the results in the different pillars that we are addressing. We have three main pillars. The first one is transport, the second one is energy, and then we have what we call cross-cutting activities. The cross-cutting activities are regulation, code, standards, pre-normative research, education, public awareness projects. In the field of transport pillar, we distribute more or less the contribution and the projects. Here I'm only presenting the results on demonstration projects, not on research projects, between cars, buses, auxiliary power units, and materials handling vehicles, like forklifts, for example. If you look at the cars, if you go on our website, you will find an updated map with all the refueling stations that we are funding, with the exact location. So if you are driving a hydrogen car, go there, you will be where is the next refueling station funded by the FCH JU. Our intention is to develop this map in order to take into account all the other refueling stations that are funded by other programs. We have for the moment in our demonstration project financed a quite large number of cars. You see the first project H2Move 90 cars and one refueling station. In high-tech 40 cars, 2 stations. Swarm 90 car, 3 stations. And in the high-five projects 110 cars and 5 stations. So the idea in this case is to increase the fleet, to extend the infrastructure, and to reduce the vehicle costs. What I can give you as a result of all this demonstration project up to now is, for example, that between 2008 and 2014, we were able to reduce the car fuel consumption by 13%. So continuous improvement in the performance of the system. And we were able to increase the range of a car after a full refueling by more than 100%. So going from 250 kilometers to the range of 500 kilometers, that corresponds more or less to a normal diesel car. In the field of the buses, we have also developed quite a long range of and quite a high number of buses and refueling stations. You have to take into account the fact that a bus refueling station is not the same as a car refueling station, because a car refueling station is with gas at 700 bar, and in the case of buses, it's only 350 bars. So again, we increase the fuel, we reduce the fuel consumption, we increase the geographical expansion of the different buses in Europe, and we reduce the vehicle cost. So here, for example, you can see that we have already achieved a reduction of the cost of the fuel cell in the bus by nearly 30%, and we have increased the lifetime of the fuel cell by more than 350%. So quite an interesting result. On the point of view of the fuel consumption, quite a substantial reduction, together with the reduction of the vehicle cost. But you see that the target by 2020 is still quite far to be achieved. So we still need to continue to work on this. What is also quite encouraging is the average availability of the buses that is continuously increasing, and the consumption of hydrogen per 100 kilometer that is continuously decreasing for the different buses under operation. In the auxiliary power unit, we have different applications: trucks, boats, airplanes, and recreational vehicles. So here again, quite interesting results with the viability of the auxiliary power units for the trucks that has been demonstrated. So for the airplane, we have some pending results. We are waiting for the end of the projects. Same for the recreational vehicles and for the boats. For the materials handling vehicles, we have more than 400 different vehicles that are part of our projects. And here again, we were able to increase the efficiency of the fuel cell, to reduce the cost of the system, but there are still some targets to achieve. Second pillar, it will be the energy pillar. There we have also different demonstration projects for a combined financial contribution of something like 88 million euro, with 12 field demonstration projects and 16 proof of concepts. What we wanted to do, and you will hear about some of the projects in the coming presentations, we have some micro CHP. The most important project that we are funding in this field is the NFIL project, but we have also big units and we have backup power. For all these projects, we were able to achieve some performance, and in some cases, as you can see, the long-term target by 2020 is already achieved by some of the projects. So we are in advance of our planning in the field of PEM technology, but also in the field of solid oxide fuel cell technology. So we are better now than what we foreseen in 2008. For the solid oxide fuel cell, for example, the stationary fuel cell cost has been reduced, and we are going closer and closer to the target that we wanted to achieve. And if you want to combine different parameters, because it's not only to focus on a single parameter, but here you have the electrical efficiency, the capital cost, and the durability, you see that we have already achieved the targets that we were foreseen by 2020 up to now in our demonstration projects. So other types of performances that have been improved, like for example, the electrolyzer stack cost that has been reduced by more or less 50% between 2008 and 2012. So what's the next step? The next step is to move from the Framework Program 7 to the Horizon 2020 program with the same pillars: transport, energy, and cross-cutting activities, with as a main difference, I will say, that we want to focus more on demonstration project and a little bit less on research and demonstration activities. The total budget will be something close to 1.3 billion euro under the Horizon 2020. The idea is to be able to connect the different grids that we have in Europe, and we have different objectives that are put in red in this presentation. We are very fortunate in Europe because we have excellent grids. We have an electricity grid, we have the Trans-European Transport Network, so the cars and the motorways, and we have the natural gas grid. Hydrogen is a perfect way to make the connection between transport, energy, and gas system and electricity. So that's all for my presentation, and I will be ready to answer any question for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this interesting presentation and the look into the project. Now, I can take questions at this time. Before everyone is ready, I will ask my first question. So why a PPP? Why a private-public partnership?
Okay. I've seen the budget, the 1.3 billion euro. This 1.3 billion euro is shared between the members of the FCH JU. And the members are the European Commission, the industry grouping, and the research grouping. So the Commission is providing in cash something like 650 million euro, and the other participants from the research grouping and the industry grouping are contributing at the level of 650 million euro by in-kind contribution in the project. So it's a 50-50 share between private and public money. So a public-private partnership.
And who will benefit from the results?
So normally when you introduce to us a project, at the end of the project, all the discoveries belong to the consortium. So all intellectual property rights belong to the members of the consortia and not to the European Commission. But they have nevertheless to disclose to the general public because part of the funding is coming from public money, so they have to disclose some of the results.
Okay, questions from the audience?
Too clear.
Well, all questions can be taken to the booth at C56, and I'm sure that Mr. Jean-Luc Delplancke will be open for questions. I think that's a very interesting project. This is the time to ask. This is the place to ask. This is the person or representative to ask. Thank you very much for your interesting presentation and for your time.
Thank you to you.
We are still with the EU. We are still with a joint undertaking. In a few minutes' time, we'll have our next presentation, and then we'll talk about the commercialization of energy storage and the role of hydrogen.